The idea is that the research unit in e-learning is supposed to measure the outcomes that were present in traditional learning, where the teacher and student would sit together and compare them to the outcomes of e-learning, where the student studies remotely. In e-learning, we provide supportive tools, training, and resources. Various strategies are used. Lecturing alone might not suffice. We've added educational videos, interactive content, and both synchronous and asynchronous methods, including traditional classrooms and discussion forums, plus email and technical support. This wasn't in traditional classrooms. I can study achievement differences in traditional versus electronic learning. This helps identify student differences and review traditional methods. So here we've introduced educational videos, offered interactive content, utilized interaction video, used both synchronous and asynchronous methods, used synchronous traditional classrooms, also used asynchronous discussion forums, used email, provided technical support. I can conduct a study. In this study, I want to look at the differences in achievement levels. Based on that, I can identify the differences among students or individual differences in general. I can also see the traditional methods that were used, like lecturing, which might be good. I want to know the difference in the level of academic performance. Based on this, I can identify the differences between students or individual differences in general, and I can see these traditional methods that were used, which is a good lecture. I can depend on it. I increase the virtual lectures instead of them being 4 or once a week. I make them more. They were approximately 4 on the scale and the same. Instead of them being 4, if they were face-to-face, it would be better. Well, I make them 6 or 8. It's normal, or once a week. Lectures weren't effective. Interactive learning, where students study independently, is better. I'll reduce the teacher's role to a guide and mentor, bringing them in at the start to kick off training and at the end for a review before the test. This is my strategy. I'm varying my strategies in e-learning for courses like 101, 102, 103, 104, and English, among others. Many courses allow for strategy changes. Instead of virtual classes with 4 lectures, why not have one at the start to introduce the course, summarize, and give an overview through that? The university requires courses 101, 102, 103, 104, and English 101. Many courses allow strategic changes. I can question mid-lecture necessity. I'm applying a new strategy with you all. Instead of virtual classes with 4 lectures, start the term with 1 to introduce and summarize the course. Then say, study now. Each week, access interactive content with media and tests you can retake for the best score. Students will keep learning and earning grades, boosting motivation due to the strategy. Instead of having virtual classes, why not start the term with 1 lecture to introduce the course and summarize? The teacher could outline each unit. Then they can address questions. Afterward, students are encouraged to study independently, accessing content weekly. Tests can be attempted multiple times, motivating students as they earn grades. The tests are low stakes, allowing students to learn from feedback and try again. He listens to their questions, spends time with them, and says, all right, go study now, grab the mouse, and weekly open the interactive content with videos, audio, images, and tests you can retake for the highest score. Students earn grades, boosting motivation due to the strategy. This strategy enhances motivation as the test counts for 1 point, not affecting passing. They can attempt, receive feedback, and retry until they achieve the final score. By year's end, students earn 10 to 20 motivational points out of 100, not affecting passing. Midterms and finals determine passing. It's a strategy that boosts motivation. Why? Because when the student enters the test, it's just a test that counts for 1 point, so it doesn't affect their passing. The test is worth 1 or 2 points, or 1.5 points. They go in, look at the test, and solve it. They might fail or pass, but they get their feedback, and they can go back and answer again, and the process continues smoothly with them. And they can answer again and again until they get the final score and everything is good. They move on to the second unit, practicing in the first unit, answering again and again. And by the end of the year, how many points did the student earn through e-learning? They earned about 10 to 20 points out of 100, which are motivational points that don't affect their passing. The midterm and final exams are what really count for passing or failing. But there's a part of the grade that's motivational, which we call the continuous assessment score, because they open the test, solve it, read the content, and review the answers. Then the teacher comes in to explain the strategy to you. I have people with me because I put in the effort to explain and create a strategy while I was sitting here. Right now, I'm going to create e-learning strategies for you. So I'm creating a strategy that doesn't exist. I'm adjusting the existing strategy. Dr. Maged, Dr. Abdel Hamid, Dr. Allah, Dr. Malhama, Dr. Ajlan, Dr. Montasser Halal, Dr. Asgad, Dr. Ragda, Dr. Amjad, Dr. Mahmoud. The professor meets students at the end saying, "Peace be upon you. You've studied 12 units. Any issues before the final exam?" And Dr. Asgad, I see names here. I've interacted with them personally as content experts. Dr. Ragda, Dr. Amjad, Dr. Mahmoud. The strategy I'm suggesting is that the professor meets with his students at the end and says, "Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. You've studied 12 units and I met with you at the beginning. Is anyone facing problems before the final exam?" This strategy is successful. For example, the professor should meet with his students twice a year at the beginning and end. Meeting twice could suffice, once for introduction and once for conclusion. This is a proposed strategy, and its approval is another matter. It could be like the all strategy, which is different because it's a different course. I see this strategy as very successful. I can edit the existing strategy. Look, everyone, I'm not exaggerating or saying we should do this. No one is listening to me. This is a training goal. For example, I have a strategy that says the professor should meet with his students in the required courses 4 times a year. But why? So I could have them meet twice. Once at the beginning of the year and once at the end. Instead of having all the content and interactive programming relying on video, audio, and images, I could just have them meet twice. Once for the introduction and once for the conclusion. That would wrap things up nicely. This is a proposed strategy that I can suggest, and whether or not it gets approved is another matter. It could be another strategy like the one used with Al-Al, which has a different approach because it's a different course. Okay, let's take a look. I have the IC course, the computer course. It's a bit old. This is the communication skills course. We can see its policies. Dr. Ajlan and Dr. Montasser, experts from the College of Economics and Administration, are with us. Let's look at the course policies. The team worked hard and created a good course. Dr. Montasser is responding on the screen. You can see the course work. In the course information, you'll find the policies. It talks about the course in communication skills. Here is the presentation. Now, this is the strategy. What are these strategies? The Deanship of E-Learning has compelled the professors to follow a specific strategy. All right, this is your work, and they are indeed with us. Let's take a look at the policies related to this course. The team worked hard with us and created a good course. Look at the designs and the mind map. Dr. Montasser is responding to us on the screen. Dr. Montasser Halal, we were communicating daily. You can see the course work. Now, if we go to the course information, you'll find the policies. Here are the policies for the course. Let's scroll down to the guidelines. It talks about the course in communication skills. It says here, look at the presentation. These are the professors, and now we're discussing strategies. I don't know if it's clear to you or not. Is it clear? Item number 3 talks about teaching traditions. What are these strategies? Here, the Deanship of E-Learning has compelled the professors to follow a specific strategy. Why? Because the Deanship of E-Learning saw this strategy is ideal for training this course using studies, research, surveys. The results may differ, but it might work. So let's take a look at the strategy. You'll notice I skipped the presentation. If you come to the presentation now, you'll find I've skipped some extras. I've moved past the presentation. This is the teaching strategy. They told us to discuss the mechanism here, which are the strategies being followed. The strategy is there is content available through a learning management system where content is uploaded to Blackboard. Okay, so the course is structured in a way this strategy is about. The learning management system means that the content is uploaded using the technologies or tools specific to this strategy, like uploading the content to Blackboard. Okay, so the course is structured in a way that this strategy is about interactions and activities with virtual classes, follow-ups, active environment through goals and strategies. Professor manages 4 virtual sessions per semester. Calendar shows class weeks. Strategy outlines schedules. When discussing goals, strategies, and techniques to create an active environment, the professor is managing the interactions. Now, when does the professor meet and manage learning with his students? He holds synchronous virtual classes with 4 virtual sessions per semester throughout the semester. So, where is it in the calendar? He has a virtual class in the 2nd week, another in the 4th week, another in the 7th week, and one in the 9th week. The teaching and learning strategy details the schedule for activities, the study units, the deadlines for assignments, and the midterm exam schedule. It's spread out over the weeks. So, where is it in the calendar? It could be in the virtual image. He has a virtual class in the 2nd week, another in the 4th week, another in the 7th week, and one in the 9th week. The teaching and learning strategy clearly outlines the schedule for activities, the study units, the deadlines for assignments, and the midterm exam schedule. Everything follows a carefully planned calendar. It's carefully planned, but here I'm talking about it